Some dreams are big. Some dreams are small. Some dream to go from place to place. Dreams of love and ever after. Dreams and sacrifices that builds the future. Whatever the dream or step or journey, you can do more with a partner that cares about your dreams. Access more than banking. Some dreams are big. Some dreams are small. Some dream to go from place to place. Dreams of love and ever after. Dreams and sacrifices that builds the future. Whatever the
A little. Yeah.
access more than banking. Some dreams are big. Some dreams are small. Some dream to go from place to place. Dreams of love and ever after. Dreams and sacrifices that builds the future. Whatever the dream or step or journey, you can do more with a partner that cares about your dreams. Access more than banking. Some dreams are big. Some dreams are small. Some dream to go from place to place. Dreams of love and ever after. Dreams and sacrifices that builds the future. Whatever the dream or step or journey, you can do more with a partner that cares about your dreams. Access, more than banking. Some dreams are big. Some dreams are small. Some dream to go from place to place. Dreams of love and ever after. Dreams and sacrifices that builds the future. Whatever the dream or step or journey, you can do more with a partner that cares about your dreams. Access, more than banking.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Virtual Distributors Forum webinar brought to you by Access Bank. This forum is an initiative of the Distributors Management Unit of the Global Transaction Banking Group, and we have organized this forum for key distributors of major corporates in the bank. These corporates cut across several sectors such as telecommunications, food and beverages, cement and flour, oil and gas, transportation, etc. The topic of this webinar is growing your business through crisis, survival and sustainability strategies. And our aim is simple: to obtain valuable feedback that will be used to implement winning strategies for distributors of these major corporates, to review the current economic changes and impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on the distributed business, and share survival and sustainability strategies that the distributors can use to grow their businesses. We also intend to visualize how we can add more value to your businesses. My name is Ufoma Afe, Product Manager at Access Bank, and I will be the moderator for today. Welcome once again to this webinar. At this point, we will take an introduction from the Group Managing Director of Access Bank, Herbert Wigwe.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to the first quarter 2020 Distributors Forum. At this point, I'd also like to say a big thank you to each and every one of you for the support and patronage we've had from you for the past several years, particularly in 2020. 2020 was a remarkable year. And it was remarkable because it brought with it a pandemic that none of us had ever witnessed. A pandemic that ravaged the entire United States, that affected continental Europe, and affected several African countries. And I think Nigeria had its own fair share of problems that came with COVID-19. It affected all industries, it affected the entire financial services sector, and it also affected government in terms of the programs that it was going to bring out to support the economy, and of course, at the end of the day, the overall financial system, which of course revolves around foreign currency, access to markets, and all. Supply chains were destroyed. However, having said that, there are a couple of things that are normal in life and which have to do with change and innovation. For several of us, it came with the opportunity to rethink how we serve our customers. And I think in spite of the pandemic, we tried as much as we could to ensure that we continue to support all of you in 2020. Perhaps not as efficient as it would have been in the past, but there was great progress made using technology. And I think several businesses have also had to revisit their entire business model and think of a more technology or technological solution to driving and ensuring that their value chains are protected. But for us, today, we're going to look at a different way of how to serve you. And the theme of this forum is growing your business through crisis, survival and sustainability strategies. And it speaks to the concerns of SMEs and some corporate businesses at this time of economic uncertainties. I can understand the notion of transformation and growth being top priority for business leaders throughout the world, given the current global pandemic, COVID-19. At Access Bank, our response to short-term challenges has always been to rebuild. And I agree totally with Jeff Bezos, who said that you need to be stubborn on the long-term vision, but flexible on the details. In times like these, it is critical to focus on your long-term vision while being resilient and nimble in adjusting to short-term shocks. I hold the firm conviction that what it takes to be resilient is also what it takes to expand. We are prepared for shocks and downturns, knowing that these are all cyclical and to be expected. But more importantly, we remain firmly committed to helping your businesses succeed and build human capacity through routine training and seminars, distributors forum like this one, and business development referrals. We promise to support your business through financial literacy sessions and audit programs, and to put you or at your disposal exceptional financial services platforms and channels. You know, our long-term goal at Access Bank has not changed from the one that my partner Ig and I agreed upon back in 2002. We continue to move closer towards becoming the world's most respected African bank. Once again, I want to thank you for your support, and I wish you a very fruitful engagement at today's session. Please enjoy your day.
That was indeed a very inspiring speech from our Group Managing Director. At this point, we'll be taking an opening speech from the Head of Corporate and Investment Banking Division in Access Bank, Iyabo Soji Okunsoyan.
Morning, a very good morning to you all, our esteemed customers, distributors, our prospects, and the executives of our corporate clients. Keynote speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us at this event. I know that, over the last year or so, we have had a series of challenges arising from the impact of COVID-19, and we've had to change the way we conduct business as well as the way we serve clients. One of the things that happened is that we've also changed the way in which we learn. And now more than ever, we are seeing that learning can actually take place outside of the classroom, and we can go online and do the things that are important. You will recall that, one of the things that we set ourselves on to do is to continually find ways in which we can not just support our distributors from providing financing, but also giving the opportunity to also help in the development of the capacity of the distributors that we serve. And we believe that, developing capacity will put us in a position where we can have businesses that are that can be sustained over a long-term basis. So it's my pleasure to welcome you to this capacity building program. It's the first of the forum in 2021. And I know that in 2020, we couldn't do any because we're all trying to grapple with the impact of COVID-19. But I assure you that this being the first one is not going to be the last one this year. We'll play that we'll continue to sustain this forum by having it on a quarterly basis. Today, our topic is growing your business through crisis, survival, and sustainability strategies. Outside of the impact of COVID-19, we also saw a lot of problems arising from the NSAS. A lot of client offices had either they were touched by arsonists or they were looted. And we had to come up as Access Bank with support for the business that had been negatively impacted by all of the things that have happened. So today we're going to learn how to continue to run our business in spite of the challenges that this pandemic has brought upon us. We're going to look at how we can make sure that we have sustainable businesses, leveraging technology, and also building the capacity of the people who work with us in each of our organizations. And to take us this morning is a seasoned strategic human resource professional, is a certified IFC trainer, Dr. Sebastian Okeke. I can assure you that from Dr. Okeke today, you will indeed receive a lot of knowledge and learning. It promises to be highly rewarding and educative. And therefore, I ask that you pay attention. I know that we can be distracted when it's not a physical meeting, but try and pay attention, take notes. The session will be recorded so that, and we will share the recording with each participant at this forum so that we can also go back and review those notes as we continue to push in the marketplace. So sit tight as we journey through this business crisis occasioned by COVID-19, but we're certain that we'll get to a safe haven and that we will indeed be victorious. Once again, I welcome you all and I ask that you enjoy yourself and have a splendid time working with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Iyabo, for that very inspiring speech. It has set the tone, and I'm sure that everyone who's on this call right now have their pens and paper and are ready to take down what we'll be learning from the experts. Before we proceed with this webinar, I would like to share some of the ground rules. During the webinar, we encourage our viewers to use the Q&A chat box at the top right corner of their screens to drop their questions. Now on your screen, you'll find the Q&A chat box. Please use that icon to drop whatever questions you have. We understand that some participants may want to ask their questions. To ask your questions, we advise that you use the raise hand icon to raise your hand virtually, and then would enable your mic for you to ask your questions. When sending in your questions, please include your name and designation after the comment, question, or feedback. For example, Emeka Adebayo Ahmed. CEO, Emeka & Sons Nigeria Limited. Please note that all the comments, questions, and feedback will be screened, and only constructive and helpful ones as it relates to this subject matter will be posted. At the end of the webinar, we will take questions as can be accommodated within the time frame. Thank you once again for joining. At this point, I'd like to introduce the keynote speaker who is already on this call. He is Sebastian Nwajide Okeke. Sebastian Nwajide Okeke is a seasoned strategic human resource professional and consultant, and a specialist in corporate management strategy, human capital resourcing, talent optimization, organizational performance management, training and staff development, organizational development, and corporate design. He's a certified and seasoned educationist and trainer in entrepreneurship and vocational skills, development, and published author and certified care guidance counselor. Sebastian also holds a BSc in economics, a postgraduate degree in education, executive MBA degree from the prestigious Lagos Business School, and a PhD from NCU, Florida, USA, with research focus on counseling and organizational leadership. He's a certified financial consultant for the IFC and World Bank. Prior to his current role as the CEO, Mastermind HRGS Consulting, Sebastian worked with the Human Edge Limited as a senior consultant / group head of the human resources development. He worked with Marsec Nigeria Limited, where he had oversight responsibility for the training, competence development, performance management of the organization. He also worked with the BAS Human Resources as a director. Dr. Okeke is the director / co-founder of Center of Enterprise Management and Research, CEMA, and co-owner / founder of Hagar Zura Schools, and director / co-founder of CEMA Campus, Anthony, Lagos. Sebastian is a pastor with the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, and is married to Abiola, and they have 4 children together. Hello, Sebastian, and welcome.
Thank you for that. I appreciate the opportunity, and we are so excited to be here today. It's always a pleasure to engage with the movers of our nation's economy, and that is what we're doing today. Those who oversee how trade happens, how business moves, and how distribution happens to create wealth and to create employment. So guys, it's going to be an interesting journey. Thanks for everything. And for Access Bank, thank you so much for the honor and the privilege to lead this conversation. It's going to be a discuss, and we're going to have an interactive engagement going forward. So let me share my screen with us quickly, and then we move from there. And it's going to be ultimately power-filled, and it's going to be quite an interactive session. So guys, let's fly, and let's fly very, very safely, and we'll land very safely. So focus is on growing your business through crisis. Guys, we are all driving through some form of crisis in businesses all over the world. Nigeria is not alone in this. Every country of the world is having a shade and an experience of all this, okay? So the game plan for us is, so how do we survive this, and how do we create sustainable businesses irrespective of the challenges? That is just the next phase. And that is what the future says. Future says it's not an absence, it's not the absence of challenges, but the capacity to re-engage and to push to the next bus stop. And that's the next phase of this whole conversation. So guys, welcome to history. There's always been one form of crisis in the world at any point in time. We've had different shades of collapse of economies, depression came and passed. We had what they call the first line flu that showed up in 1918. It came and passed. We had the First World War, it passed. Had the Second World War, it passed. So this war will pass. I mean, everything comes to pass. They will pass. They're just walking through their time. So we've always had that. I remember when that showed up at that time, it was also a terrible pandemic all over the world. Businesses were shut down. It was unbelievable. The world had never seen anything like that before. Just like this one will claim we have never seen anything like this before. It was a challenging framework. People died, businesses crashed, yet from the rubbles of that battle Today we have mega organizations, massive businesses that had never existed before that first crisis, that first pandemic, are today springing up all over the world. And that is why you also notice that even in the midst of the pandemic, great ideas are springing up, new businesses are coming up, new ways of doing things are rising. So from every ash rises greatness. From every ash rises greatness. And that is how it has been. And so we have the conviction in Access Bank that in the ash of this challenge, greatness will rise for every business, and it's going to happen. Now remember again, 1960 was another traumatic experience for a country called Brazil in the field of soccer. I'm sure a number of you are familiar with football. So remember, before Brazil was the world champion. They've led the whole world. They won the World Cup, and they were so sure and certain they would do it again in 1966. Wait a minute, guys. 1966, Brazil were blown out of the competition at the early stages of the competition, blown out completely. That's the world champion. It was so devastating for the country. People were so traumatized. The whole country went into mourning. And then the great guy himself, Pelé, probably said he would never want to return again to the World Cup. He said so. He said, I will never, ever play the World Cup again. This is too humiliating for me. That was 1966. But wait a minute, guys. 1970, just 4 years after, Pelé came back, Brazil came back, and they won the World Cup all over again. So it wasn't the falling that was the issue, it was that it was a rising up again. And that is one of the things that happen to businesses. Businesses go through storms and challenges, but will rise again. So the first thing Access Bank is saying to you is believe that you will rise again. Believe that these businesses will come and do greater things that they have done before. What are the key drivers that helped Brazilian team? Innovation. Thinking through the box and saying, how else can we do this? Are there new ways of doing things? There's always a new way to do what didn't work the first way. There's always a new way to do what did not work the first way. So they came up with innovations on how to build a different team that would drive the future. Of course, they also created a cohesive thing. They came back and rebuilt the team all over again. They identified what didn't work. They recognized what should have worked, and that they didn't push, and they came up with what they pushed. And know what, guys? They delivered the World Cup. Then leadership mattered. And that is one of those things we're enjoying with Access Bank. Providing collective corporate-based leadership to our businesses to say, no, guys, let's do it together. Let's do it together. Let's partner with you. Let's get you up and get you rise again. And that is interesting. So after they provided this corporate leadership from there, and then from every business, you also come back to say to yourself, so how do I get this working? How do I get myself back? I want to win this World Cup all over again. And you're going to rise again from the ashes of tears for Pelé to the glory of being celebrated. Those things are real. So let's come to now. So we have this COVID-19. I'm sure we had our CEO, the MD CEO, when he spoke about the challenges that it has thrown all over the world and what the bank is doing to support businesses. I also had the other when she also said, in the midst of it all, the bank remained the partners the business to make sure that the clients rise and stand. So what are the things that will happen? Triumph from every tragedy. Triumph from every tragedy. And McKinsey and Company came up to identify 5 interesting qualities that business owners and drivers must have. First, resolve. Make up your mind that we will raise this business. Resolve to do so. Be resilient about it. Don't ever give in to the fears of the storm.
Where's the volume? Can you hear?
Fears of the storm. Resilient about it. Be resolved to make this work and be determined. And then number 3, return to the mandate of your conviction. And I remember that we've had this fast, and for us, we are not just talkers. We are also involved in the businesses. We have businesses too that went through the storms. We have a school, we went through the storm, but we never remained in the storm. We came through the storm and we are pushing. Never remain in the storm, held back, keep pushing. Then reimagine the drive, the conviction, the drive, the future. Reimagine, let your imagination come back again. It didn't work first time. It didn't work after so many years. We have seen that now we just crash away, right again. Let there be that powerful push and then create necessary reforms that will help you activate your future in that business. But for distributors, there were new twists. What happened? There were 4 classes of distributors that were impacted by COVID. 4 classes. They're the first category, distributors that experienced sharp and unprecedented drop in demand. Suddenly, push, everything just started going down because they were right in the eyes of the passing storm, the instructions of government, the physical distancing, and the recommendation for isolation impacted their business. So those ones went through a very, very excruciating difficulty. Then we have category 2 distributors. These ones, they had explosive increase. So while the other one was having a unprecedented drop, these ones were having an explosive increase. Category 2, the demand just went up, bam, up in the sky, because they were providing things that were essential to survive in the midst of the storm. Some of them were providing medical supplies. Some of them were providing home deliveries, canned food to homes, and so many things. So those businesses that found themselves, and some of them were providing teleconferencing, like we had a case of these guys that put together Zoom that we're using today. I mean, before COVID, they probably were struggling with some few hundreds of thousands. Suddenly in COVID, bam, everything went up. So businesses were like that COVID was the springboard to their rising. Then we had some other businesses that were just not sure what was happening. They were neither here nor there. They were either selling or not selling. Some distributors, they're not too sure. They were just barely, sometimes they get an order, sometimes they get no order. Then we had the 4th category. These ones were impacted because their customers were impacted. These ones could not push because the customers didn't have money. Because they didn't have money, they could not push because the customers who had kudi suddenly didn't have kudi to buy anything. So we had that category as well. In which case, we say this particular distributors, not necessarily about the fact that they don't have a good product or they don't have a good business model, but the buyers just didn't have money to buy. So 4 categories that came out of that. So how do we push or resolve? Okay, address the immediate challenges. Identify what were the immediate challenges that happened on account of COVID. Address them. Number 2, be rugged about how you manage your cash. Be rugged. Be determined not to mismanage cash when you are going through crisis. Remember, the principle of profit is that your revenue outweighs your cost. Your revenue is more than your cost, so you make profit. All right. So, but if your revenue is not growing and your cost is growing, you will run yourself out of life, out of business and out of life. Okay, so be resilient to deal with your cash issues and work it out. Then create a detailed plan on how to return your business back to what it was before COVID came. Okay, create that plan, and that is where you need to talk with your with Access Bank. They have sound resource people, very credible relationship managers that can work with you and come up with that plan that will make your business return to what it is to be. And of course, with your corporate partners, your large corporates, also having conversation with your account managers in that relationship, they will help you to reimagine how your business will work. And of course, guide you to the reform decisions that you need to make. And every time there is always a call to reform one thing or the other to get the business working all over again. Now, Psalm 2:6 said that this is an unprecedented situation, that the key will be to ensure that businesses are returned to their state before the crisis. And that is the key. The reason why we are doing this, the reason why Access Bank is doing this, is that we need to bring everyone back or better than we were before the crisis started. And we'll take this from our group CEO. Very interesting. He said, if you think the grass is greener on any other side, remember one thing: the grass is greener because someone was watering it. All right. So anytime you see a green lawn, a green business, a business that recovered, a business that suddenly got it right, just remember someone somewhere was watering. And that is what you need to do. Do the watering. And that's what Access Bank is partnering with you to achieve. Doing the watering. How to get your business back to the green lawn of life. So what do we focus on? What do we focus on? To get back to the green lawn, what do we focus on? Focus on recovering your revenue. Focus on what do we do to get money back? To get money back. Because grammar without money is anger. When you are busy speaking too much grammar up and down, and money is not coming in, one day you will be angry with yourself and be angry with your business. And that is why Access Bank don't want you to get into that hold of being unnecessarily too hard on yourself, and then you now start taking unhealthy decisions. So how do we recover revenue? Number two, how do we rebuild back our operation as a business? How do we rebuild back the operation? Number three, how do you rethink the business? And very key, how do you use the power of technology? Because remember, in the course of the crisis, the power of technology helped a lot of businesses, because when we can meet face to face, there must be a medium that will help us to drive market, to drive commerce, to sell. And the power of technology provided that medium. And so it becomes critical for every business, wherever you are, to leverage on the power of technology, to push yourself to the mainstream of relevance, to push yourself through the wallet decisions of your customers. So how do you recover revenue? Shape up your business. And SHAPE is an acronym. So we're going to share that very quickly. Shape up your business. Say to yourself where you are, say, I will shape up my business. I'm hearing you loud and clear. I will shape up my business. So how do you do that? Number one, S, start up mindset. Guys, have you ever imagined that when you wanted to start your business, you had this unlimited hope, unhindered energy? I'm about to do something for myself. Now, you need to come back to that mindset again of saying, oh, I'm about to do something for myself again. I'm about to reawaken my business. So in shaping up your business, you have to have the startup mindset. Startup mindset. Number two, your human resource capabilities. What capacity do you have in your business? I'm sure you recall that when Yabo was speaking, she also mentioned to the capacity of the human element of your business, the talent component of your business, the people. And when you don't all the people, all the Megidas and everybody who are working in your business, how do you build capacity to make them deliver value? Very important. Then your A, shape up your business. S, startup mindset. H, human resources. A, acceleration of your digital compliance. Use technology. Use it. Use technology. And it's important for you to know how to use it very, very well. Use technology, use your phones, use your everything is important. Use your WhatsApp, use all of them. They are there already. You are paying for it. Each time you buy data, you've already acquired all those capabilities. So learn how to use them to push your business, create your communication. All those people on your phone, all those 1,000, 2,000 contacts, they are markets. They are markets. They are not just numbers. They're just markets you can sell to them. And then you create that channel to make it happen. Number four, the P. P said purpose-driven corporate customer knowledge. In the bank, they call it KYC, know your customer. For the distributors, yours is KYCC. KYCC, know your corporate and your customers. Because it's important for you to know your corporate. Know their policy, know their opportunities, know their offers. They are offering you some incentive. Know what is happening. Know what is going on. They are expanding into new markets. Know what is going on. They are bringing in more product. Know what is going on. Know all you need to know about your corporate. And then know your customers. So for you as a distributor, it is KYCC. KYCC. Know your corporate and customer. And then adapt to the ecosystem. E, the ecosystem of the new normal. The new normal is a complete new way of doing things. A complete new way of doing things. Adapt to it. See yourself at the center of what is happening. Don't be outside. Don't be outside the mainstream. This ecosystem, be in it. It's an ecosystem driven by the power of technology. Be in it. It's driven by relationship, be in it. It's driven by KYCC, be in it. Be in this ecosystem. Because it has come to stay. So be there. Be a part of the big picture, delivering value. Some of you inherited a business from your parents. And so it was a family business, it was a family thing. It's been there forever. You can't afford to lose that business. You can't afford to lose that business. And so whatever it is, fight back to gain back the business. And that is very important as you navigate this corridor of creating a recovery for your business. And of course, rethink the business. Look at roles. Some of you have created different rank of assistant manager, A1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. See, your business is like a restart. You have just pressed the restart button. So some of the roles and some of the ranks and titles, you may need to modify them until you come back to what you were, then you can restate them. So look at that. And then engage more people to help you with taking right decisions, because you need help at this time. Engage your bankers, engage Access Bank, engage your corporates, engage people to join you to think through the process and leverage on the opportunities you have to grow the business. Then speed up the use of digital. Use digital efforts to meet changing customer expectations. Your customers now want to be served in a different way. Don't force them to go back in the old way. The old way is gone. All things have become new. New technology, new world, new normal, new life, new customer expectations, and even corporate aspirations has also changed. So connect to that. Use the power of data, the internet, all over the place. Update your technology, modernize it. Some of you are still using analog phones. Move to digital space. Move quickly to that new space and get yourself as part of the mainstream of what is happening all over the place. Don't just monkey around and then believe that it will just happen. No, everything happens because someone does something. Remember what the group's CEO said? He said, every time you see a green lawn and you love it, someone was watering it. Be the one that water, and let you also create the green lawn for others to admire. And of course, increase the speed and productivity of your capacity within your space. Increase it and make it very, very loud and very, very loud indeed. Now I'm going to show you a little clip. I won't run it all through. I'll just show you some basic clip about this, and quickly we'll just run through. So I'll just show you a bit clip of just watch. Very simple.
There's one sector that has been most visibly affected by the COVID-19 outbreak. It's the closure of restaurants and bars around the world in order to help stall the progress of the virus.
Viewers, Rachel Cook here, small business strategist. And today I'm here to share with you the business crisis checklist that we've been providing to entrepreneurs and small business owners to help them navigate the uncertainty around the COVID-19 crisis. This crisis is impacting small business owners more than probably any other thing we've ever experienced, especially businesses that are directly impacted by stay-at-home orders and non-essential businesses being forced to shut down. So we want to make sure that we are taking action now, that we are being proactive to ensure the survivability of our businesses and ultimately to be able to continue operating or reopen in the future. So the first part of the business crisis checklist is getting into the numbers. We want to make sure we're looking at the revenue coming into your business this month and the future coming months. We need to look at whatever invoices you currently have out that need to be paid, whatever contracts or agreements you have out, and make sure you're going to continue receiving payment from those customers and clients. And we want to look at any recurring payments you have on the books. This is going to be really important. We need to have an understanding of what is already coming in without making any additional sales, and ensure that those payments are going to continue coming in. Once we have a handle on the incoming revenue over the next several months, we want to take a look at our expenses. This is a great time to do an expense audit. Go line by line by line and look at every single expense, all the money going out of your business. Now, you might find there are expenses you can eliminate completely. You might find that there are opportunities for you to call and negotiate better rates on some of the expenses that you have. You may also find that there are some expenses, especially things like technology subscriptions for software or things that you use to run your business, that you might be able to pause or downgrade the level that you are at, just so that you're not overpaying. Go through line by line and look for any opportunity to cut those expenses so you can keep more cash on hand. Next, we want to look at your cash reserves. Your cash reserves are basically the savings account for your business. So how long will that cash reserves actually fund all of those expenses? Once you have an idea of your cash reserves, your incoming revenue, your outgoing expenses, you'll be able to figure out how long can you stay in business without making any additional sales. That information is going to be crucial, because if you're cash flow positive, you can continue taking actions to make sure that your business will survive through this uncertainty. But if you're cash flow negative, we've got to take some drastic action to make sure your business will make it. Now, once you have clarity on your numbers, then it's time to call in all of your support. We need to start picking up the phone and checking in with anyone who you are doing business with. First calls are always to CPAs and lawyers. You want to talk to your lawyer. Contracts are going to be important, and a lot of contracts did not start a pandemic. So we want to make sure that your contracts are solid. We want to make sure that on your side, if you have any contracts that need to be adjusted or altered for services to make sure that you can continue delivering those services, if you need to change anything about those services, we want to make sure your contracts and terms and conditions are going to be buttoned up.
So we just went through that little video clip, identifying some critical things that are important as we move forward. Remember, she talked about checking your numbers, looking at your revenue. Where is money coming from? How do you gather kudi? Where is it coming from? Very important. Because if you don't have a track of where the money is coming from, you won't even know where the money is going to. And for many businesses, many of us are not too sure what exactly generates this money. We know we sell. I remember one of the open sessions we had with some of our distributors. And I remember I explained to you guys that if you don't understand your margin on each product you sell, you may live a lifestyle that eats up your margin each party you attend. And then you wonder, for every time you go to a party, 70 bags of or 80 bags of a product is already gone because you spent it by playing life. So track your expenses, track your revenue, keep a watch on them. Very important. Number two, check if your business model is still working. That model that brought you to where you are today. Check if it's still working or you need to jig it a little bit and make it better. Then number three, plan policy actions across timeline. What will I do in 3 months? What will I do in 9 months? What will I do in 18 months? What will I do over the next 2 years? Have a plan of action spread over the period of time. Be patient in securing investment and credit. Now, offers will come. Credit opportunities will come. Don't be in a hurry to jump at them when you have not sorted out the base of your business. Because you may want to quickly jump at that credit and say, they are just going to offer us some new loan. Let me jump at it. Good, but think about the business and be sure that you are ready for it. And of course, your bankers will guide you because they will check your books and be sure that you are ready before they give you more responsibilities in the midst of the pandemic. Then what are the long-term, what more structured action for us to take? Communicate with your customers. Let them know that you are still in business. Let them know that you have not closed. You are still there. You are still providing. You are still as strong as you used to be. Because they'll be wondering whether you survived. Tell them, I survived. I'm here. Maintain a powerful relationship with all partners of your business, your bankers, your corporates, your customers, your landlords where you have tenancy, everything. Relate with them. Call your accountant or your auditors to check your books. Okay? That is important. Keep your team engaged. Ensure your employees are happy and they feel challenged every day to be at work. And of course, talk to your stakeholders. Be part of the team. Talk to other dealers, who are not unnecessarily blocking your space, and let them know that, see, we are in together in this. We're going to make it happen. So what is the way forward for us? What should distributors do? And how should small businesses do? How do we get through the storm? Guys, move. That is the word. Move. Just move. Don't hold back. Don't sit back. Don't do nothing. Just keep moving. Every motion takes you closer to a success line. Every motion moves you closer to a breakthrough. Don't hold back. Don't sleep. Just, oh, pandemic is outside. Let me go and hide. Don't hide. Go through the storms. Keep moving. And move is an acronym for us, guys. It's an acronym again. You know, I've seen shape. Now I've seen move. Another acronym. So you shape, you move. You shape, you move. You shape, you move. All distributors, as you go back to your business, put the notice everywhere. I am shaping, I am moving. When you move, 4 things will happen. Number 1, you mobilize. You mobilize. You mobilize yourself. You mobilize your space. You mobilize your community. You mobilize your stock. You mobilize your resources. You mobilize your capability, your capacity, your ability to do more. You mobilize yourself. That's the first thing you do. Identify the things you cannot afford to lose that you must do as you move to the next phase. Mobilize yourself. Mobilize yourself. And Access Bank is for SMEs. Access Bank is for growing businesses. Access Bank is for everyone that has a burden of running a business. We are there for you. So be mobilized and mobilize yourself to have the capacity for that level of engagement. Very, very fundamental. Mobilize. Remember again, move. M for mobilize. O, observe. Observe. Determine how you will invest in those critical areas of your business. Observe the opportunities that are coming to your market space. Observe what is happening around you. Conduct a quick financial assessment of your readiness for the next phase. And then identify the financial requirement that you really need to help you take the necessary steps you want to take. Remember, we're all in this together. You're not alone. You are not moving alone. You are moving with Access Bank. And the bank is there, backing up your motion. You're not alone. So don't think that you are an orphan. You're not an orphan on this battle. This battle is for everyone. And the bank believes that your success is our success. So you're not alone. You're not alone. So observe the opportunities, observe your next steps, observe what you need to do, and give your life a move. Okay? What is V? Validate. One of your greatest resources for developing and adapting a plan for sustainability is your competition. Find out what are they doing differently. Don't turn your eyes away from your competition. If any one of them has opened up and they are doing something new, you find out what are they doing. Validate the opportunities in what they are doing and see what you can learn from them to move to your next phase. So this is not the time to say, oh, the competition is doing their own. Yeah, they are doing their own, but it's important to you because if they do better, they will take your market from you. So you need to find out what are they doing and see what you can do to take back your space. Remember, we are moving. And that's the next phase. You move. How do I survive this? Move. Don't hold back. You shape up, you move. You shape up, you move. Let it be your slogan, every one of you. As you go through this model, learn to drive the shape, the move. The shape, the move. Now we are at V. Validate. Check out what others are doing and see how that connects to what opportunity you have. And then E, enable. Enable yourself. Having done all, stand. Determine what your new value proposition will be. What are you going to be telling people again? Enable yourself. And then communicate your plan on how you're going to come out better and stronger as a business. I am not going to walk through this whole storm and remain the same. No, I'm coming out better. Better. And it's so important. And there was a story I wanted to share with you, and I just shared in summary. A couple of years I was at the University of Ibadan, and Dangote had been invited to come and deliver a speech at the University of Ibadan School of Business program. I lecture in the School of Business in the Lagos Center. And so he couldn't make that meeting, but he sent the daughter who came. And the lady gave a very, very deep story about the struggles of the family of Aliko Dangote when his business was still not as what it is today. The battle line, the struggle line, the difficulties, the challenges, and even when he wanted to give up, several times, not 3, 4, 5, 6 times, he was almost going to give up. But he kept encouraging himself and kept moving. He kept moving. And here he is today as the largest single businessman out of Africa, because he never stopped. He never said no when the circumstances said no. He kept moving. He shaped, he moved. He shaped up, he moved, always moving. I'm sure you're aware that he's working on what will arguably be the largest private refinery or the largest refinery in the whole of Africa. Move! And even part of the largest in the world, just because he never stopped moving. Remember, mobilize, observe, validate, enable yourself, move to your next phase. And then the second story was Maersk. I used to work with Maersk. Maersk is one of the largest global conglomerates in the entire world. And I worked in that organization and had the privilege of going to Copenhagen, the headquarters of Maersk, for a training program. And while I was there, they took us into a movie theater owned by Maersk in the office. And they showed us what they call the Blue Movie, which was the story of how Maersk emerged. They are the ones managing our ports in Nigeria today. All those containers will start all over the place. Most of you distributors and corporates probably have one business or that to do with them as you import products or you export. And they told us about the story of the Arnold Peter Muller Maersk family, the APMN, how they went through storms. Many of them died in voyage, all kinds of catastrophe and crises. They lost family members, but they never lost the passion to keep moving. They never lost the drive to keep moving. They lost members of family, died on the sea by boat capsizing, everything. They remained clearly on their voyage to create the largest shipping conglomerate in the entire world. And today they have it. So what I'm saying to you is that you've got to move. You've got to move. It's a fundamental strategy, and we have listed it. Check your numbers, be sure of your revenue source, check your expenses, identify your critical needs, interface with your corporate, talk with your bankers. There are opportunities coming up every day. There are funds available. Take advantage of that through your bankers. And then shape up. Remember, the startup mindset, very important, very important. Your human resources, very important, very important. And move to the ladder and then move. And as you do this, I am positive, and the bank is positive, Access Bank is positive, that you will recover. And you will not just recover, you will be better than you had been before now. Because the future is green. And like our group executive chairman said, that green lawn, someone watered it. And that is our push for you. So guys, let's do things together. Let's do things together. Let's come together as a team and let's navigate through the storm together. And that is the mandate and the promise and the commitment of Access Bank to you, that tomorrow is here. That tomorrow of the post-COVID is here already. And your post-COVID can start right now, right after this meeting. Your post-COVID could have just started, because we offer you more than banking. We offer you a lot more. We are partners. We are relationship builders. We are your allies, your stakeholders, your key stakeholders as your businesses recover. And that's the commitment we have made to you. What the next 3 minutes we're going to wait and stand on as we get your feedback and your questions, and we should be able to provide some basic answers for you. Once again, we are grateful to you, God, for your life that you made it. Surviving COVID is a huge success line of itself. And then your businesses will shape up and will move forward. Thank you. And thank you so very much. And I look forward to standing by as with your questions and your feedback and your reverts. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. That was an awesome and power-packed session. And I'm sure you agree, all our participants would have had so much to learn from that presentation. So I'd encourage our participants at this point to send in their questions. So there are two ways for you to send in your questions. You could either use the Q&A chat box at the top right-hand corner of your screen, type in your questions and it would be asked, or you could raise your hand virtually by clicking the raise hand button on your screen, and then would enable your mics for you to ask the question. Please note that only questions that pertain to this subject matter should be asked, and they will be answered by Dr. Sebastian. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're seeing some hands raised. So Francis, we'll take your question now by enabling your mic. Please ask your question. Francis, you can ask your question now. You've been unmuted. Francis Abioye, you can ask your question. Okay, while we wait for Francis, JB Enterprises Makodi, your hand is raised, so we'll be taking your question now. You can speak. JB Enterprises Makodi, you can unmute your mic to ask your question. So let me go over the rules again. If you want to ask your question, you can type it and send it using the Q&A chat box on your screen for typed questions. But if you want to speak, if you want to ask your question, please indicate by using the raise hand button to indicate virtually, and then we would enable your mic to speak. So all you have to do is click on mute and then ask your questions. I hope we have gotten this. So JB Enterprises Makodi, your hand is raised and we have enabled you to speak. So please unmute your mic to ask your question. Okay, while we wait for the customers who want to ask the questions, we've already started getting some questions from the Q&A. So Mr. Sebastian, this is directed to you. Anonymous. It says, any advice on how to push sales even when the demand for product is relatively low?
Yeah, are we going to take all the questions together? Are we going to answer the questions one by one? Are we going to have questions and or do them up or just sit them as a turn? So we can work in either way.
Okay, JB Enterprise, I see you've unmuted your mic, so you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, I'll wait for that. Can I attempt to respond to the?
Yes, you would. Yes, sir, please.
Okay,
as
fine.
I asked the question, just
okay, fine. So
respond. Thank you.
There was general drop in sales. Everyone experienced drop in sales. It depends on the category, but there's a category that never had a drop in sales. In fact, their sales went up. We gave those 4 categories of distributors, if you remember, in the course of presentation. So there's the category that had a drop in sales. There's a category that had a sharp rise in sales because of the sectors they were in and to what extent they were impacted by regulations of distancing and shutdown order. So those were real. Now, so what were the triggers to drop in sales? Is it because of drop in revenue of the consumers? Is it because the product is no longer in demand, or what? So what could trigger drop in sales? Drop in sales is either a shift in wallet. So if the wallet is still active, there's funds, and then the wallet has shifted, that's a different ballgame. But if there's wallet, which is they have money, and then sales dropped, then we need to look at, so what is happening? Is it peculiar to the product or to the location or to? So there are a lot of things that would happen. We can't have a blanket answer to what makes sales drop until we look at the case in question. And unfortunately, we have very capable resource persons within the relationship managers in our sales bank that can have that conversation with that particular distributor if it's on our customer. If it's not one of our customers, then I will give a generic answer. Sales could drop because there's a drop in revenue of your consumers, or because the product in question is no longer in the pressure need of people, or because your selling models is not reflecting the changing expectations and priorities of your consumers. So there are a lot of things that could make sales to drop. So it's either purchasing power driven, or marketing strategy driven, or it is product nature driven, or it is economic pressure driven. So there are a lot of things that could make that happen. So to deal with that, we need to know what is peculiar and how we respond to that. If it's a drop in revenue, then as soon as people's revenue come up, sales will rise again. If it's economic pressure issues, then as soon as the economic pressures are resolved, sales will rise again. If it's a product shift issue, which is taste of consumers have shifted or price of consumers have shifted, then that can be addressed in different ways. From corporate, firstly, in terms of doing an engagement with consumers to validate what are the consumer interests, to validate what to make the consumers want to buy, and then you push that back to the system. So it now depends on where the bus stop is, and then you can pick up your personnel from there.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sebastian. That was a fantastic response. He cited possible reasons why there could be a decline in sales and possible ways to remediate that problem. We have another question here from KG Ajayi. He says, how do we move with the constant increase in price of cement and the level of competition in the cement industry? What can be done differently as a distributor of cement?
Okay, fortunately, we have the corporates on the platform. I'm sure that question is domiciled within that space. But again, cement responds to market forces. Cement, like every other product, responds to competition analysis in terms of what is changing. Again, cement can also be driven by brand power. So is it possible that the power of the brand is stronger or weaker? It can also drive that. So where you have increasing competition, which means that the market is active, which means that the consumers have the purchasing power to buy. And so the producers are excited about it, but it's now as to where they're buying from. It could be driven by pricing mechanism. It could be driven by certain activities which the corporate know how to do best in terms of how to modulate pricing to drive patronage by consumers. So there are a lot of factors that could induce that. Some of them, it could be driven by the strategy of the corporate. So if the corporate strategy is to position the brand at level X, then they will do everything to put the brand there. And if the corporate strategy is to position the brand at a different market, then they will do that. So it depends again on the product, on the brand. It depends again on the corporate strategy of the organization, of the producers. And of course, again, market forces plays out. So it's even exciting to hear that the competition is active. That means the market is back. And when the market is back, then other things will happen. But again, between you as a distributor of cement and your corporate, you can deal with some of the internal back office things that will give you a refreshed access to the market space. That's what I would say at this point here.
All right, thank you very much, sir. We'll be taking one of our customers who would like to ask his question himself. So Alhaji Bakari Rashid, you can unmute your mic and speak and ask your question. Alhaji Bakari Rashid. Okay, while we wait for Alhaji Bakari Rashid, Godwin, your mic, Godwin Aja, your mic has been enabled so you can ask your question. Please raise your hands only if you wish to ask your question yourself. Godwin Aja.
Hello, can you hear me, Afe?
Yes, I can hear you. You can go ahead to ask the question. Thank you very much.
Firstly, I have to thank you. I thank Access Bank for bringing the resourceful person on this outing this morning. It is a thought-provoking lecture. And I thank Dr. Keke for refreshing our memory on how to uplift our business transactions. My question is that most of the companies that produce product in this country were faced with challenges during COVID and after COVID. That most of the products in the market has been increased because of cost of raw materials. It is a challenge to the companies. It is a challenge to the distributors that are the field to distribute this product. You must have planned your strategies on how to survive, and so many things has cropped in external factors. Under such situations, even in a situation where banks are reluctant to give in more money to distributors to increase their purchases, what do you do? Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Godwin. That's a very, very intense question. I'll use the word intense because it captured the entire spread of the value chain, both from the distributor, the producers, up to the distributors, to the consumers, and then of course, to the ecosystem. So you're right in spotting the fact that the ecosystem had a fundamental challenge, and it wasn't unique to any country, but just that interventions and responses were different per country. So again, it also depends on the strength of the economy. Before COVID, Nigeria's economy itself was challenged. Okay? So there was activity, but the economy by itself, and this is not about government or just about the economy, over the years, we've faced that challenge of how the economy works. And so for banks like Access Bank, it has been an intense engagement for them to have grown the kind of customer support they've done in the midst of this challenge that is real all over the place. And that's commendable. And it's important to also capture the fact that even for your corporates, the producers, the Dangotes and the bottling companies and every one of them, it's been intense as well. All of them, all the customers, PZ, whoever they are, every corporate, it's been intense doing business in this climate. One, the operating cost is high, the cost of facilities is high, the cost of infrastructure maintenance is high. Some even have to do the infrastructure upkeep themselves. So there's a lot of cost already in the ecosystem. Then COVID came. In the midst of an already struggling economy, COVID came and brought its own struggles added to that. So it's a very intense thing. And of course, the government rose in their strength to provide certain level of support for the small and medium enterprises. Some states even went ahead to provide some form of tax deferment of tax and so many things, just to be able to reduce pressure as best as they can. So there are multiple layers to your question. So I will unbundle them quickly and then identify the ones that push. So the one that has to do with corporate, with the economy is domiciled with government interventions. And there's a lot of interventions being pulled through. And we hope and pray that those interventions would work, that they will work. Of course, I've seen the CBN try to come up with some other new ways on how to make, just to reduce pressure on dollar. Everything is being done in the best of the wisdom of the government to do their best possible so that this economy can move to the next phase. That is one. On the back of your corporates, they are also making an effort to be able to remain competitive and as well as be able to service customers. So I believe the corporates, all of them, the producers of goods and of the goods, are doing their best possible to reduce the pressure pot on them so that they can produce at competitive prices without necessarily not being able to cover their cost. So that is another thing, which I'm sure that they are doing very well. So between the infrastructure, the economic challenges, and then the challenges of the producers, and of course, you mentioned about bankers, the banks in their struggle with credit. Of course, the banks also went through a lot of challenge because the number of credits went bad, a number of funds they provided went bad. So there are a lot of things that didn't go too well, even with the banks, because they they're also struggling in their way to be sure that the credit they've given out comes back. But for many banks, they have to give moratorium, they have to give a lot of things because that was a reality. Going forward, okay, the banks have re-engineered, Access Bank has re-empowered itself and say, you know what, we're going to work together to make this happen. The corporates out there, and they are all re-engineering, working with large sort of opportunities to re-engineer the market. We are just coming out at the edge of exit of COVID. So might be early morning to be able to say, we're not able to recover. We will recover because I've seen signs of recovery already. And that's why I said that from everything, apply shape, apply move, you will find yourself at the corridor of success. So it's a conversation that will happen. The corporates are working and they are liaising with their bankers to assess funds to produce goods and services that will come back to the market and at an affordable rate. The concern for you will rather be, okay, do the people have the economic power, what we call the purchasing power to buy? What is inflation rate? Those are things that will bother you. So until the inflation rate is contained and the purchasing power outweighs the force of inflation, then the market will come to full strength. Is it happening? I'm seeing signs, positive signs that is already happening. Because now we can talk about the fact that some staple products are crashing. Over the week, I heard from the financial derivatives that to a great extent, that's Mr. Arewani, that to a great extent, some of the parameters of the cost of cement is coming down. Okay, so cost of cement is coming down. Crude oil is coming down globally in rates, so might likely not trigger any rise in oil prices. So a lot of things are happening that is saying, yes, we are the corridor of that restoration of the purchasing power and businesses will breathe in and out. All right. Now, may I share with you at this stage, and permit me to do that because that's very important. What are the signs that you yourself, you are running a healthy business? Because it's also important for you to know that your business is healthy and then you can now activate the benefit of the ecosystem. Because if your business internally is not healthy, you might not best appropriate the ecosystem benefit that will make your business stand out. So I'll just take you through on a small ride. And please, guys, if you are there, you can take note, all the distributors. There are signs that your business is healthy. And those signs, I will put them in an acronym that we all know called Mr. Niger. Mr. Niger. I'm sure you know it in your elementary schools or secondary schools when we did biology and they were asking us the characteristics of a living thing. Mr. Niger. So that is the same sign we're going to use to know that your business is healthy. Number one sign is that that business has mobility. Is that business moving? Are there motion? I mean, not is the business progress? Are you seeing signs of motion? A business that is static, that is not showing any sign of motion, is already internally distressed and may not best take advantage of the economy and opportunities in the system, even if the bank gives you all the money in this world. So your business must have the capacity for motion. There must be certain mobility. You are the one that started that business forever. Have you brought in more people to help you? Have you expanded your scope? Have you brought in, what is happening? So motion is important. That is M. R is respiration. Breathe in, out. Is your business breathing? What are you breathing? Ideas. You breathe in ideas, you breathe out solutions. You breathe in products. Supplies come from your corporate, you breathe out sales. Sales begin to happen. That business must have a breathing capacity. Your store must have in and out. You breathe in, you breathe out. Goods are coming in and they are being bought. Goods are coming in, they are being bought. If you don't have that kind of breathing in and out, then that business is distressed. That is your R. Your N is Niger, nutrition. What do you eat? Business eats money. Ego, goodie. That is what business eats. You must learn to eat money. And then when you eat money, nutrition, okay? It makes business work. You eat people, not to kill people. Get good people to work in your business. Of course, very important. All right, that is N. I for irritability. That is another word for that, means responding to your external environment. So are you responding? We talked about observing competition here. Are you seeing what others are doing? What are you doing differently? You must have you cannot operate in a lone world. You must also know what is happening around you. What are the opportunities there? What are the offers you have from Access Bank that you can take advantage of? As a person, as a business, then through your corporate, what can you get? You know, your corporate can also provide some form of guarantee for you based on your relationship with them. So you take advantage of that. That is your irritability, responding to external stimuli, to the opportunity around you. Your G is growth. How do you measure your growth in turnover? Growth in sales over the years. Is your sales growing? Because ordinarily the way corporates work, if your sales is growing, then you'll be getting some rebate, you'll be getting some benefit, you'll be getting some growth, some bonuses will be added to you because your sales has been growing. Is your sales growing? Is your profitability growing? Is your reserve growing? Now, if your sales is growing and then you make more money, you eat it up in 24 hours, it's gone, then you are not growing. Your business should grow. There must be a G factor in your business, growth, which means your business is growing, okay? And your corporate is seeing growth, then they will support you. Very important. Then E is excretion, exit. There are times when you need to let go of some practices, of some ways of doing things that has not helped your business to grow. Probably you have a policy when you started your business that every money you make, 40% must be chopped by you, and that is not helping you. You let it go. You let it go. So you must have that excretion capacity. That is to say, let it go, let it go, let it go. All right. Then the R, the last one is reproduction. I've met a couple of distributors of Access Bank who have produced other sub-dealers. Reproduction, producing young ones. And again, you can also run succession in your business. At times, many of you are still, you've been the only one running a business, bringing younger people to help you run your business as well. Create a succession that will make them bring in fresh idea. It's part of reproduction. So Mr. Niger can help you to structure and validate if your business is healthy. And then you can see how that helps you to connect to opportunities in the environment. Yes, thank you.
Wow, that was a fantastic response, very detailed from Dr. Sebastian, who would have known that Mr. Niger D also applies to businesses. Thank you very much, sir, for that answer. At this time, I'd like to encourage our customers who will be asking their questions to keep their questions short and brief and straight to the point so we can accommodate as many questions as can be allowed. So we'll be going over to Yemisi Teller. Yemisi Teller will be enabling your mic now to ask your question. So unmute your mic to ask. And for customers who are asking questions concerning getting credit facilities and what Access Bank can do for distributors, please stay tuned as we'll be having a session shortly that will address all of those questions. And for people also asking if they can have a copy of this webinar, please stay tuned as we'll be advising details on how to get this video at the end of the webinar. So Yemisi Teller, over to you right now. You can ask your question. Your mic has been enabled. Thank you. Okay, while we wait for Yemisi Teller, we would be enabling the mic of Harun V01. Harun V01, you can unmute your mic now to ask your question. Please keep it brief and straight to the point.
Good morning.
Good morning, you're on.
Good morning. Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yes, I'm calling from speaking from Chris. Yes, we have a particular challenge. I think also a general problem.
Hello, good morning, House. Hello. Let me have it.
Hello, can I continue? Okay. I was just asking a question. I said we have a challenge which I believe is also a general problem here. But being in this presentation, we feel it is necessary we also ask for expert advice. At the moment, we have some challenge relating to some external costs, something like fuel and diesel, and some other revenue expenses for the government, which we don't have control over. And they're having a deep impact on the profitability. You know too well that the percentage of incentive has remained the same. It did not change because of COVID. Is there any possible way you can advise us to turn around things, at least to still remain profitable in business?
Okay, please stand by. That speaker, please stand by. I need a bit of clarity. If you don't mind, could you just tell me the sector of your business? What sector do you play in?
Okay, FMCG, we are distributors of one Friesland Capital.
Okay. So what's the nature of your distribution? You move products to your sub-dealers or to your retail shops?
Sub-dealers, neighborhood markets. And particularly, we are trying to conquer the rural areas because that's where our strength lies.
Okay. Do you move products every day, or you have specific days you move to your?
We move every day. We move every day, sir.
Okay. Is it because your buyers buy in smaller quantities, or they buy in bulk, or you have not been able to track the volume of their purchase to enable you move a bit much more reduced than having to do every day moving around?
That's the nature. The plan is to reach out to every retailer, every shop within every nook and cranny of our territory.
Okay. Now, so when you move to them, you bear the cost of moving. You are responsible for your cost for moving product to use your sellers, correct?
Yes. We also use our vehicle.
Fine. Your margin arrangement with them, is it influenced by your cost or it is influenced by your corporate?
It's influenced by the corporate.
All right. So you see, that is where your business heart comes in. So you have a corporate that, by virtue of your distribution, you also facilitate the expansion, their own expansion plan. Now, in that corporate, they have a regional structure or state structure that supports market growth and development within the region where you play. Is that correct?
Yes. Very correct.
Is that correct? That they have a structure.
It's correct. Yes.
Fine.
It's correct.
So you see, you need engagement with that structure to understand the cost profile of your helping that structure to deliver on its objective. The objective for market expansion is not your sole responsibility. It's a responsibility of both yourself, who wants to grow your market, and the regional structure of your corporate, who also want to grow the market. So that conversation needs to happen so that there's a balancing understanding of the scope. That may influence you to negotiate for some measure of volume-based discount or volume-based rebates. So if, for example, you're able to expand your volume by virtue of this trade you're doing, and it grows for like 50% of what it was before, you've grown the market by 50%. Because you are helping this corporate to grow its market, then you have a conversation with the corporate network to see, okay, I'm growing your market for you on account of my distribution arrangement. What would that translate to in terms of considerations for rebates and bonus, because you are bearing costs? If not, because you need to also be competitive so that you do not, in an attempt of trying to cover up your cost from your distribution channel alone, your product becomes too high, that is not competitive. So you need to have that conversation. That conversation should happen with your large corporate.
Okay.
And that conversation.
I believe they are part of this discussion. Yes, we're having a kind of support, but currently, due to a large increase over the period, it's no longer enough. If you check something like fuel, before this period, fuel was selling at about 97 naira. And at the moment, it's about 175. We are still receiving the same support. So it would be very important that the corporate can look into these figures and know a better way to support us. We don't need to begin to call figures, maybe 1%, 2%. Everybody is aware of what is happening now.
I agree with you, but the point I'm making is that before you sell to corporate also wants to see opportunities. So what is the size of this market, for example? Is the market growing, shrinking, or static? The corporate would like to know. Are you able to push the market to grow? Because if you're able to push a market to grow at 50% of market, in other words, they grow at sales, the volume of sales went up by 50% on account of your distribution. I can tell you for free, that corporate will want to have that conversation with you right now on how they can support that growth. But if the commitment is not reflected in terms of growing market, growing opportunity, then that corporate may be reluctant to have that conversation. So it's important for you to have that conversation with facts and data. So in other words, go to your market space, prove by trade, by volume, we have grown by X, we have expanded by Y, we have been able to reach this is X, this is a new opportunity for us, and they can see that you match your words with action. They will have that conversation with you as quick as possible.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's been quite an interesting and interactive session answering the questions. And I'm sure that other customers have also gained a lot from the questions that have been asked. At this point, we'll be welcoming Morenike Ogunwolu. She is the head of value chain management at Access Bank, and she'll be taking us on a presentation on distributor management products here at Access Bank. I've been seeing lots of questions about facilities and offerings that Access Bank has for the distributor sector. So she would be taking us on a presentation, and she would also be open to receiving questions and answering them as they come. Hello, Morenike, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning to everyone, our distinguished distributors, sub-distributors, corporates, our sales director in all the corporates, everybody on this call, my colleagues, thank you so much. It's been such a wonderful session so far. Dr. Sebastian, thank you so, so much. It's been such an interesting one that we've enjoyed.
Let's please hold on for Marinike. She'll be back on shortly.
Hello, everyone again. So sorry about that. I want to say a big thank you to everyone. Good morning again. Yeah, my name is Morenike Ogunwolu, and I want to say a big thank you to everyone on this call, our distinguished distributors, sub-distributors, our corporates, all our sales team and the corporates, my colleagues. Thank you very much for this, for being here and honoring our call. And Dr. Sebastian, thank you for such a wonderful session. It's been so power-driven, knowledge-driven. Thank you everyone for taking our time. Okay, so is a session. This is one of our distributor forum that we've been having. We've seen all that has happened in 2020. We've seen the challenges, but then of course, innovate or die. So it has happened, as Dr. Sebastian said, it has happened before, it will still happen. But then we will always be here to actually weather the storm. And as my MD said, when you see a grass that is greener, someone is watching it. We'll continue to water that. We are your financial partner. We are not just a banker to you. We are your financial partner. And in this, we are in this train together to actually go beyond the ordinary, to actually achieve the perceived impossible. Perceived impossible being that, okay, in this COVID, what are we going to do? Is it going to weigh us down? No, no, no. So that is why we brought up this, to actually educate all our customers on what to do, what we have for you as a financial partner and all that. So we still remain, our vision still remains to be the world's most respected African bank, here to support you and do all we need to do. So in this session of mine is to just take us through what we have to do for you in Access Bank. We've always been your partner. We've always been your financial intermediator to actually help you in processes and also ensure that you scale up your business if you have been in business, and also if you're a startup. Here is for us to go and all of us to actually achieve what we need to achieve. So as I said earlier, I said to us that we are financial partners, and what we need to do is to actually help us in your business, to help you in your business. I just want us to go through what we have as Access Bank. We all know what we are, we know our presence and the number of customers that we have. We have over 36 million customers. Kudos to you, our distributors, our retailers and sub-distributors that have made this up. We have different channels through which, like I said earlier, like Sebastian was saying, Dr. Sebastian was saying earlier, he said, do something when he was talking about shape, accommodate technology. And COVID has actually brought that out to us and shown it to us that we can do our business anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. And that is what COVID has done. And that is what Access Bank has also brought up. So beyond banking, we've gone through our IT, we've gone through all our channels to ensure that you can trade, you can you can do your transaction through any means. That is through your POS, through any branches, through virtual wallets. All our channels are up, and we have a lot of that. Our people are our strength, and you can see how we have been striving. So for our presence, we have presence all over Nigeria and some other African countries. That is thinking about some of our distributors going outside the shores, looking at what some of our corporates are doing. You can actually be a distributor outside Nigeria. We are there to support you. So just to go through the accolades that we've been able to get through you, our distributors, and also our customers. So we've been able to win some awards and some accolades whilst we are here. We got the African Banker of the Year. We got it this year. We also got a Big Deal of the Year. We got Business Sustainability Achievement, Outstanding one. We were a winner for it. So that is why I told you, I said in the beginning, we are not just a banking partner. We are also a financial intermediator. We are also your financial partner. So these are things that we've gotten through your help. So let me now go to our value proposition. So I'll say that our value proposition to you as our customers is far, far more than financial. So we have both the financial and non-financial proposition, the value that we had to your business. You've all known, we've been in this business for years, and we can pride ourselves as being the best in this particular field. So we have both the financial value that we give to you in form of working capital, in form of loans. We all need loans to actually either start up our business or also move and scale up this business. That means that we need money to enlarge, to increase, and to also ensure that if you're a new startup, if you have dollar lines, we can actually use this facility or capital to actually do this. So they're in different ways depending on which of the corporates you are actually talking to or you are actually taking their products out. So it could be in the form of an overdraft or a bank guarantee. We all know that, which we are giving to you in Access Bank. We have the infrastructure financing. So what Mr. Sebastian said about shaping up and also ensuring that you're looking at your business. You are not using the fund for buying your stock to actually go and build a warehouse or to go and get a van or so. So in Access Bank, we ensure that we loan you, we give you facility to actually ensure that you are able to do that. This is to help you in the course of your business. This is to help you scale up. This is to help you with your startup and to ensure that you are not mixing up your working capital, your profit, or your sales together. So in Access Bank, we give that as a term loan. Another very good one. And when we do this in working capital, we ensure that we do it for startups, businesses that have already grown but need to scale up. Also, your downlines, which I say are the sub-distributors, the retailers, or your consumers. So they are facility and financial intermediation at every point in time. Another big one, which is beyond banking, that is capacity building, which this is one of them, the Distributor Forum. The places where we come in, train you, let us know what is happening in your businesses, sit with you, look at what is happening in the economy. We've seen over the years, 2020, and even towards the end of 2019, we've seen a lot of things that has happened to businesses. Some businesses have become so relevant, some have become so resilient, some have become victim to what is happening. How do you get into this? How do we educate you to actually take your business from where it is to the next level? How do you tap into opportunity? This is a disruptive economy. How do you, as our customers, actually get into this disruptive economy and move on with your business? Move on and make sure that your generation still have these businesses. I always say to some of our customers, there are some businesses that are generational. I've seen distributors that have been in businesses for 10 years, 20 years, I've seen some that just started in 2 years, some are just starting today, and they're going to scale up. So how do you tap into that? Apart from you coming to the bank to learn, what do we have to offer? That is where we have capacity building, we have trainings, and that is when we bring in people like Dr. Sebastian to talk to us on scenarios around the world, on how you can be a world-class distributor, and then cascade that to your downlines, to your own value chain. I know that distributors will look at it as, do I have a value chain? Yes, you do. You have sub-distributors. You're supposed to grow and ensure that distribution is all over. You're a distributor to Nestle. You cannot be in all locations. So you have to ensure that the region or the territory you're giving to is expanded, there's a growth, and then there's sustainability there. How do you do that? Do your sub-distributors, your retailers. So that is why we have this capacity building for you guys. Look at it. How do I scale up? How do I start this business? If I have a situation like this that is happening in, because what we have here is business continuity. What do you have to do in areas where you have, in times like this, when there are issues with the economy, when a lot of things are happening to the business, and then we are having a lot of disruption? How do we go through this so that we come out stronger, we come out better, and we come out very, very, very strong? So those are the things that we do apart from looking at financials. As I said earlier, this is beyond banking. These are also our routine training that we have, the distributor forum. Don't forget that our distributor forum used to be physical, but you see what has happened? So that is why you must accommodate technology. You must be able to look at the situation and then move on. There's business development, financial literacy sessions. Over the years, we've helped so many of our distributors to scale up. There have been distributors that were not auditing their businesses. We brought in auditors into these businesses. We've ensured that these businesses have financial help. They can actually go in and ask for loans in other places because they have their books, bookkeeping, auditing your account, also bringing expertise, your relationship managers, your relationship officers. You have specialized people. Like I said, I had the value chain team, which is for us as specialists. So we have specialists like me that can talk to your businesses, look at what the issues are beyond finance, and then restructure the business for profit. Restructure your business for scale up. Restructure your business for succession. So these are the things we do. These are the things we bring to your table as Access Bank, which we have already started doing. We've done it over the years, and we're still doing it. So as I said earlier, this is a typical ecosystem of all our distributors, a typical one. So you have a distributor where you want to distribute, is either you have your own location. So I have a distributor of telecoms, and I'm giving a particular region. I'm giving a particular territory. To scale up that territory, to improve on that territory, I can actually replicate it as myself and then improve and also scale up sub-distributors. So how do we come in as a bank? So what we do is that whilst we're supporting you, we're supporting your sub-distributors as well. We're supporting them financially and non-financially as well, through all our technology platforms, through all our innovation, through all our trainings, and that is what brought up this one. So we have the capacity, we have the capability, and we have the know-how in the form of our staff, the product that you have in the bank, to actually do the needful, to actually ensure that you are always in business, you are growing, and then you consistently maintain your top 20, your top 10 as a distributor in any form. So these are the things that we do. So your ecosystem as well. So I see distributors asking me, do I have an ecosystem? Of course you do. Of course you do. It is not only the corporate that has an ecosystem. Your ecosystem are your sub-distributors, your retailers, those ones that have to move beyond where you are. You're just a one business, but then you need to distribute your business. I heard the question where somebody was saying that I have a distribution cost a cost that I have to go at. You have sub-distributors. We help you to actually ensure that these distributors are empowered. They are empowered financially and non-financially. They are empowered through our technology platforms. We have our e-bills, we have our POSs, we have all forms that our staff, our relationship managers, we all come out to you to actually give that to you to ensure that your businesses are growing. So I just want to go through some of our SME loans. I could hear some people asking us about this SME loans. So we have some loans that are for SMEs and they have a particular threshold that you can actually lend from the bank. The bank can actually give to you at a very good pricing, and then the requirements are not as bad as we think of, but then something that we can actually, our SMEs and our sub-distributors can actually look at. This is for us to support these businesses. This is for us to support the buying of goods from you, such that as a distributor, you don't have to give credit to sub-distributors. Sub-distributors can be financially included into the bank. They can actually come into the bank and lend. And then for businesses that we have that need little cash and little working capital, these are monies that we give. This is an SME product that caters for businesses that need between 1 million and 5 million. It can be given to you as a working capital meaning that you can use it to buy stock. You can use it to get products from the corporate. You can use it to get products from your distributors. You can also use it to finance your assets. So you need a vehicle to actually ensure that you can move your businesses. This kind of loan can actually be given to you at a considerable pricing and conditions. So this one is given at 27% and is between 1 million and 5 million. We have the instant business loan. So we've seen a lot of SMEs springing up. We've seen a lot of businesses coming up because of COVID. We've seen a lot of people trying to cash into new things that are coming up, new businesses that are coming up. How do we support you? How do we ensure that this one, you don't have to go through all the rigors of the bank to get loans? So these are loans that are given to you at the maximum is 5 million. And then the conditions are so easy that you can walk into our bank, walk into any of our branches, speak to any of our relationship team. We are here to support. We're going to communicate this to all our distributors, communicate it to their community. This one can actually help us to actually start up, scale up, and also ensure that we grow our businesses in a very, very cost-effective way. So as Access Bank, I've said it initially, we are not just bankers. We are here to support your business. We are a financial partner to you. Our concern here is that as we grow as a bank, we want you to grow as a customer. We want to be able to for you to point to us and say that in the course of my journey, in the course of my business, in the course of my growth, Access Bank was my partner. Access Bank was here for me, and they were here for me even at times when we think that everything has gone, we can't do anything. So we as a bank and as a financial support, we can do all this. We can actually ensure that this is done seamlessly, and then you get this at no pain and no requirements whatsoever to actually ensure that you get this on time. So we have the DBA as well, which is also for MSMEs. These are for small businesses, micro businesses, medium-sized businesses, any type of business. And you will have seen us bringing this out all the time. So these are the conditions for all these loans that you can actually get. So you can get loans as high as 50 million under this with the conditions stated. We will actually communicate this to the community of the distributors and sub-distributors. We have supported your business we can support your business from scratch. As I said, and I continue reiterating, we will help you to start up your business. You can actually diversify diversify as well. Any other business, we can decide to diversify. You want to scale up your business, you want to start up. We have bouquet of products, bouquet of services, bouquet of platform that can actually support that business. You can be in the coffin of your homes and be able to actually transact. I'll be able to actually transfer funds. We'll be able to buy my stock. I can do that on any of the platforms of Access Bank. So it's not limited to only, okay, I'm an SME. Even the big distributors, I know some of my big distributors here that are already tech savvy. They already understand. So when COVID came in, we had to actually scale up technology. We had to actually retrain and train everybody to actually be on this particular platform, so that you're not deterred by anything. You're not deterred by the fact that, okay, I can't move, I can't do this. Businesses were going on. I can even actually tell you, e-commerce has grown so big during this period. COVID has come with its own disadvantages and comes with its own advantages as well. There are things we thought we couldn't do. There are things we thought the businesses cannot afford to do. But wow, we've seen businesses growing. We've seen platforms coming up. We've seen payment gateways shooting up and coming up to actually support our businesses. And that is why we are here as Access Bank. We will be here for you. We'll do more than banking. We are here to actually be a financial partner, not just a bank. So in all of this, I know that my distributors we are all here to actually say, okay, what are the values? So these are the values we bring to the table. Also, in us doing this capacity building, I've spoken about technology offerings. I've spoken to you, and then banking at ease. We all know, and I'm very sure a lot of us can testify to the fact that Access Bank, because of our branch network, because of the fact that we respond to issues, there's always a weekend banking, there's holiday banking for most of us to actually trade. So there's no hindrance. So we are here for you. We are here, but like I said earlier, some of the things that we tend to do as a bank is to provide financial support and the non-financial support, which we've seen that businesses need now. There are clinics in the bank that actually speak to businesses that are failing for us to actually revive those businesses that are scaling up to help them. Succession plan, as Mr. Sebastian has said, he had said something, Mr. 90D. Mr. 90D. I never knew that we could actually deploy our biology experience and our biology study. So you move on, innovate or die. So that is what is happening. So you have to grow. You have to ensure that your partner, as we are in your business to allow you grow, to allow you shed some of the, shed away some of the costs that we're carrying, develop where you are, innovate, move your business, move with the trend. Let technology come into your business. Let it be seen that, okay, as a business owner, as a distributor, the brick and mortar is moving to technology. Access Bank has brought up a bouquet of platform where you can actually do a lot of your businesses, which we are doing and will continue doing. But not only for our distributors, as I said earlier, distributors too have their community of sub-distributors, community of retailers, which we are very, very okay to support. So I tell you something. In the bank, we have divisions that cater for retailers, divisions that cater for distributors, divisions that even cater for corporate. So we are all encompassing, all encompassing. So it's not only your business. Is it your staff? Is it to train them? Is it on salary? We are here to actually do all that. So I await questions. I await things that you would like me to speak to or about your business, what you need us to do, or we are doing, or you need us to do more. What you feel that, okay, Access Bank, we will expect you to do more here. We want to hear from you. We want to hear feedback from you. I'm here. As I am here, I have people, my colleagues all over the branches, we have them all over Nigeria, that we are able to support your business, ensure that you get the right treatment as your financial partner in all your business. I think in all of this, I would like to say a big thank you to you guys. I thank you, all the distributors, the corporate, for your support whatsoever, for banking with us all these years, for now starting your banking. And I know that some of us will actually bring in new customers into the business, into Access Bank. We are here, our doors are open, and we really, really appreciate you. We are not taking the relationship for granted. We are not taking it for granted at all. All we need to do is to expand your business, take it to greater heights. As we said, our aim is to be the world-class organization, world-class bank. And then we need our customers to also be world-class customers. In all of this, I will say a big thank you again, and I come to the end of my presentation. I await questions, things that you might want to know about distributive business in Access Bank, how we can help you, and how we can improve our relationship. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Morenike, for that detailed presentation. I'm sure that everyone is well abreast of all the propositions and offerings that Access Bank has to ensure that we support the distributors sector adequately. For customers who have been sending their questions, you'd notice that a staff member has been responding to you as we have to wrap up this webinar. Thank you very much, Morenike, for that detailed presentation. We really appreciate your time. To end this webinar with closing remarks, I'd like to welcome Chizoba Okafor. Chizoba Okafor is the head of Global Transaction Banking at Access Bank, and he will be closing with his remarks. Hello, Chizoba, welcome.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So we have gradually come to the close of the session. First and foremost, we want to thank everyone that have joined. It's a pleasure having you on this forum. And a lot have been said, and I hope and sincerely hope that people have gotten one or two strategies to move their business to the next level. One of the things we're trying to create is what we call the ecosystem banking. And just like Morenike had mentioned, you're not alone. Whatever you're doing, there are some value chain behind you. And that is what we're speaking to today. We're trying to get you to look at those value chains to drive them, because the more you drive them, the better it gets for you. And for some of us that have been discussing lending and facilities, that's one of the ways to avert lending, because if you drive your value chain down to give you those funds, then you don't need to borrow, because whenever you need to buy anything, the monies are always available. So it's what we are driving now in trying to make sure that that works. There are a few things I just want to highlight before we close. The first one is that it takes you to survive and succeed. You, not the environment, not the economy, not your clients. You have to first have that survival mode before you can succeed. It is when you're convinced that you want to succeed that you'll be able to start to do things and put things in place. The second thing I also want to bring out is that crisis throws up opportunities. So just a quick instance, we are using Zoom today. Pre-2020, Zoom was barely struggling. I mean, they weren't really making money. Today is a multi-billion-dollar company. Why? Opportunities came up. COVID happened. As bad as it is, we didn't want that, but it created an opportunity. So in crisis, there are opportunities. Not that we want it, but that is how things have been in the last 100 years. Someone has said that there are more millionaires made during crisis than during peace. And it's true, because in crisis, there are opportunities. And like Dr. Sebastian has said, when you're going through the storm, please, there is one thing you have to do. You keep going. You keep going. At some point, you will pass it. If you stay in the storm, it's going to swallow you. The third thing is that this is the time to switch on our survival instincts. We used to have a meeting where we say, if you tell someone to jump from a 10th floor down, the person will say, are you crazy? But if you open a door and bring in a lion, the person will switch on the survival instinct, and the next thing you want to do is to fly out of that window without looking at the repercussions. We're not saying you should fly out of the window, but we're saying you need to put on that kind of instincts, and your brain will begin to function in that manner, and you begin to see results. And one thing is that all businesses need to be young forever. The business you're doing today, you need to always make sure it's young. What does it mean? If you have one set of customers from now, in the next 5 years, those customers will get old. If you do not renew them and get young, you're going to lose out. Other people will take the existing businesses, and your customers will grow old and they will fizzle out. The fact that a 15-year-old boy drinking Milo today, he might not drink Milo in the next 5-7 years. So we always need to be young. And finally, I just want to say to us that we are trying to provide more than financial services. This is part of what we're providing beyond banking, which Monica explained. It's not just about financing. Any bank can give you money today. What we need to do is go beyond that to help our customers grow. And that's why I said we've launched our ecosystem banking. And the idea is that for whatever you're doing, there are people dependent on your business. So we need to support you all the way down. You need to focus on how you go down to drive those businesses. So having said that, we want to, on behalf of the management staff and the board of Access Bank, thank you very much for taking out time on this busy schedule. We know some of you are quite busy juggling between selling and listening in. We really appreciate your presence here. We're not taking it for granted. We're going to give you further details. I can see a lot of questions around the link to the Zoom meeting, the materials and all of that. We're going to provide that for you. Our moderator will tell you how that will be done. But what we would do is that we would then have to take some more questions. We couldn't take that because we also wanted to manage our time. So we will respond to some of those questions, and maybe a few of them, Dr. Sebastian might also speak to them as we go on this journey. So thank you very much for attending. Thank you so much, and have a great, lovely week ahead. God bless. Bye-bye.
On that inspiring note from Chizoba, we bring this webinar to an end. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did bringing it to you. For our customers, we appreciate you for taking out time to come and learn strategies that would help your business grow amidst this pandemic. For customers who would like a copy of this webinar, a link will be sent to your registered email address where you'll be able to watch and rewatch this webinar. For our customers, we appreciate your time, and we do hope that you stay tuned for more webinars to come. Please, at the end of this webinar, when you log out, you see a survey. Kindly take the survey so we have your information so we can reach out to you when we have more webinars and workshops like this. Thank you for joining, and have a blessed day and stay safe.
Place. Dreams of love and ever after. Dreams and sacrifices that builds the future. Whatever the dream or step or journey, you can do more with a partner that cares about your dreams. Access. Some dreams are big. Some dreams are small. Some dream to go from place to place. Dreams of love and ever after. Dreams and sacrifices that builds the future. Whatever the dream.
Okay, as Chizoba had said earlier, we're still available to answer questions that you may have. So you may decide to send in your questions using the Q&A chat box, or you could decide to raise your hand by hitting the raise hand button, and then we'll call on you, enable your mic for you to ask your question. Dr. Sebastian and Okafor, as well as Morenike, are still on standby to answer your questions. So you can keep sending in your questions. So right now, Akinrele Joshua would enable your mic for you to ask your question. Akinrele Joshua, your hand is raised. We'll enable your mic. You can speak to ask your question, but please let us know who you're directing the question to. If you're directing it at Dr. Sebastian, Okafor, Chizoba Okafor, or Morenike.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Joshua.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I want to appreciate you for this program. It has been awesome. God bless Access Bank. God bless all the facilitators. I pray that God Almighty will sustain the program with success. The first speaker, I would have loved to ask this question earlier, but I can still go ahead and do that. My question is, how can a distributor, are you with me?
Yes, we're with you.
How can a distributor grow in an economy that is characterized or bedeviled with insecurity? Transportation issues, as a road network, you know, the roads are terrible. Multiple taxation, policies, somersault for the federal government and energy, you know, power issues. Times, all these things can be can affect, you know, the growth of a distributor. And can you help us? I just want you to throw some points so that I can gain and others can benefit. Thank you, man.
Dr.
Hello?
Over to you. Yes, we got you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Am I to answer the question right away?
Yes, please.
Okay, brilliant, Mr. Kinley Leary. I think it's awesome that we are recalling again the realities of our times. You would agree with me that even in the midst of the war in Iraq, which happened for years, there were businesses that were thriving. There were survival instincts, which is what Chizoba calls it. There's something inside everyone that makes it such that you have a duty to yourself that against all odds, you want to break through. And like it's a virtual platform, so we often lose the reality that in some part of Nigeria that has been extremely challenged security-wise, you still see that in the midst of the whole storms, there are people who have taken that self-determination, resilience, that they will survive. So my point, of course, God is a strong factor in safety, and wisdom should never be lost on the platform of pursuit of commerce. But you must have the capacity to speak to yourself that for bearing all odds, let it be that I put in my very best, my utmost best. And one of the things about best is that whenever you've done your very, very best, when I was in primary school, the teacher said to us, never aim at the mountain. Say aim at the sun. Aim the sun, or just aim at the sun, so that if you miss it by chance, you will hit the tallest tree or the mountain. So it's about setting priorities and pushing yourself against all odds. And I can tell you, it's not funny across the tables on every side. People have responsibilities, dependents, families, and so many things. But your business must come to a point where you, as the driver of that business, answer the question, do I want to run an organization or not? And we have found out all over the world that great businesses came out of crisis, out of real crisis. In fact, almost all the major businesses, I was going to show you, show a clip, but I later didn't because of time constraint, about businesses that were born in crisis. Businesses all over the world, striving businesses who were born in the time when people weren't ready to plant businesses. That was when they did. And forgive me if you feel offended by this, that the Bible said it was when the crisis was hot that Isaac was planting and he was reaping. So which means there are times of storms and it triggers in you that quest to make a difference in your life and in the life of those who depend on you. And then that is when to push. So the economic crisis has always been there. Every country of the world, look at the best of countries of the world. The United States of America, they have serious racial issues, serious economic issues. They live on credit. They buy a house on credit. In fact, somebody was saying that Nigerian landlords and landowners are cash-based landowners because we pay cash. Omonile doesn't collect credit notes. He collects cash. So when you own a business in this part of the world, you own a store, you pay 100% for it. You buy a car, you pay it off. Only companies can pay cars on credit or whatever, or company attached employees. For the private number, we want to buy any vehicle, you pay. So Nigerians are cash-based wealthy people. So that is a plus for you. And my saying is that, yes, the storms are there, but you don't have to die because of the storms. Let it be that in active push, you push yourself through the storms and push the storms away. And storms will bow when they see fire, when they see determination, when they see ruggedness. See, everything may not add up the way you want it, but at least the fact is that you always keep moving. Remember, Mr. Niger, movement, keep moving. Keep moving. Don't stay in one place. It's a necessary feature of a survival business that you are always moving. You are not static. It didn't work, another one work. I'm sure you know that most of the success stories of business inventions were a product of failures repeatedly over time. So failure doesn't mean they're dead or end. No, failure simply means it didn't work. Get again a new wind, somehow it will work. So yes, road is bad, security is there, power is not working, but your life is working. Your ideas are working. There is someone there that needs help from you, that needs a product that you produce, someone that needs a channel that comes from you. Service that individual and get the company moving forward. So the point I'm making is that as you do so, remember, you're not alone. Your corporates are there. They also want to survive, and so they will support you to survive. The bankers are there. They also want to survive. They will support you to survive. So either way, there are helpers all around you, and they will help you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. So we'll call on Naprosia Integrated Gola Limited. Gola Limited. Yes, your mic has been enabled. You can ask a question. Why Naprosia Integrated Services would ask his question after. Gola Limited, over to you. While we wait for Golad Limited to join, Naprosia Integrated Service, the mic has been enabled so you can ask your question. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon.
I thank everyone, especially the Access Bank, for organizing such a forum. I've been able to learn a series of things, and where I have to sit up on my distribution and business. But my question is, on the side of distortion, price distortion, what can we do about it as a distributor? And also, what is the role of the partner on price distortion, so as to make sure we are still in business and also in profit? Because over time you discover that a lot of people not minding whatever they are getting and tend to do to because of competition. They go about distorting, they go about doing all kinds of things just to make sure they are the champion of that particular field. So my question is, how do we tackle about that? Because it has been really a kind of serious issue on my own side. Another question I have is talking about SME accounts. What are the requirements on opening an SME account with Access Bank? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So I'll just try to take your two questions. The first one is on pricing and how it can be reduced. I assume that you're already a borrowing customer of the bank. Either you have an overdraft or bank guarantee. For overdrafts, irrespective of the interest rate, one of the best ways to reduce interest payment at the end of the month is to make sure that all collections and all Naira you have is paid into the account as quickly as possible. And I'll give you an instance. So let's say your overdraft is 1 million Naira, right? So you go and trade and you have 100,000 Naira, please pay it into the account. What it means that at the end of the day, if you have only paid in that 100,000, interest that have been charged for that amount will be charged on 900,000, not 1 million. If tomorrow you pay in another 500,000 and close end of the day, you have 600,000 you have paid in, you haven't drawn, you'll be charged interest on 400,000. So that's the best way to reduce interest rate, when you keep inflowing money from your sales. So don't wait till maybe a week or 2 days after or 3 days after. And that's on one side. However, if you also want to reduce your pricing further, then it is to understand whether the corporate you're dealing with has bank guarantee option. If you take a bank guarantee option, you'll be charged a one-off fee and then you trade. You don't have any interest charge all through the year, as long as you meet the repayment on the bank guarantee. So really, that's the best way to do it. On our side, the pricing is based on the money market situation, right? I know when we used to charge about 22, 23, 24%. Today, we have gone down to 15 because pricing have gone down. So if it goes down further, we will also go down, all right? So that's the idea. We will keep doing what we can to make sure we support you. On the SME account opening, it's a standard account opening documentation. All you have to do is provide your company documents. We'll do KYC, you bring your ID card, your BVN, the basic things, all right? And for that, we can either send someone to you or you can approach any of the branches anywhere that's close to you, and that account will be open. And I hope I've been able to answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chizoba, for that answer. At this point, we would call on Inyai Wogu, Pastor Inyai Wogu. Your mic has been enabled, so you can ask your question.
Hello.
We can hear you, sir.
All right. Actually raised my hand, long ago, not now. I was trying to lower the hand, but I wasn't able to do that. Albeit, I really want to appreciate you people. This is a very good one, very an eye-opening seminar. I've personally learned so much, and I really want to commend all of you for putting up all this. I've spoken to Morenike, and I've also made my comment on the wall of this call. I hope to have the presentation so that we could also look at it and help ourselves. And for some of our customers who were not able to turn up, we could also engage them and help them know what we learned today. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Pastor Inyai Wogu. We do appreciate your comments and feedback. Like I stated earlier, the link to this webinar will be shared with all the participants on their registered email addresses. So they'll definitely get it and they can catch a rewatch if they want to. At this point, KP. The mic of KPD Merchandise has been enabled, so you can ask your question. KPD Merchandise.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. Good
Yes,
day.
now we can hear you.
Thank you very much. All right, my name is Ruduapan from Ocean Foods Limited.
KPD.
Okay, this KPD.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, please, not really a question, but on the issues of having or not receiving supplies from companies. I think Access Bank has a relationship with some of these companies that some of us have taken loan to trade with them. In a month, we receive supply, we expected even to us, or the BG that bank can also weigh in, coming companies like FMN, Freedom, on their priority customers to enable us get these goods on time turnover with the bank, and so that when we even ask more from the bank will be able to do more. Not that we are paying charges bank. We are not receiving goods from companies. So it's like leading to access bank with their relationship to also ship with them to help us out in a month.
KPD merchandise, your network seems to be poor and there seems to be some background noise. So if you do not mind, you could send using the Q&A chat box. You could send a question using the Q&A chat box as we can barely hear you. Next, take the question of Odudu. Odudu, your mic has been enabled so you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you. My question is, I want to find out if there is a DCP or NCR bond for seaway food distributors, and if there is none, if they can profile us, because we are really doing well with seaway foods.
Sorry, could you come again with your question?
Okay, I want to find out if there is a DCP loan or NCR bond.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Odudu, we couldn't hear you, so please, we implore you to send that question through the Q&A chat box and someone will respond to you. Thank you very much. Next person, Hansen. Your virtual hand is raised. So we've enabled your mic now, you can ask your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know if you can hear me out.
I can hear you, you're on.
All right, Hansen is my name, Hanoblis Nigeria Limited. I happen to be in the telecom sector. I'm a distributor to Globalcom, Airtel, and 9Mobile. It all seems we have virtually the same problem, as I've also listened to my colleagues in other spheres of distributorship in the business. This meeting could have been very interesting if we've had representatives probably from government, NCC, and basically the networks too, just reps. I do hope that in further discussions, these meetings of this magnitude, invites should be gotten across to people in these other sectors too, so that some critical areas of discourse can be highlighted upon, some areas that you people tend to address, most especially as it concerns distribution of their products, profit making in the business, and the whole business in general, so that everybody have a takeaway. Because my own thought line here is Access Bank tends to be the only anchor point on these whole issues, and Access Bank does not really have a solution to some other teething issues. Access Bank is just like the financial institution which they are to enable us, but the other leg, which are the networks and government, is also very important, because there are some issues here that Access Bank can't solve, I doubt if they will even understand some of these problems, because we are not actually interfacing with them on that note. So theirs is just on the financial assistance segment and for us like this. But having said that, there is one other issue that I do think that Access Bank should also take note of, which is also very important. Access Bank tends to be the only corporate or structured organization in this whole circle, in this whole ecosystem. Our government is not structured. We, the distributors, who are not structured. Most of our businesses are not structured. The government is not structured. The whole environment of doing business are not structured. So it becomes a very difficult combination of issues to handle most times. For example, if I tell Access Bank that, look, I'm having problem with my product, that is why I'm unable to meet up their payment, they will not understand. Bank will not understand. If I tell the bank, oh, sorry, I'm having some problems with some of my customers as a result of product supplied and all that, the bank will not understand. So these are some of the things that the networks or the global FCMG people will understand much more better and could have a very good working relationship with us and the banks. But these people are not here in the discourse. So please, I do think there is a need, because I just realized that what Access Bank is trying to do is what every bank should be doing, and it is the way businesses should be done. But because of the kind of environment we are in, where we have found ourselves, for example, if I want to access a loan from the bank as of today now, there are some basic requirements that is expected of the bank. Having dispositions from CBN, the bank is not expected to grant me facility without meeting some basic requirements. And some of these requirements are very difficult. They might be basic, but they are very difficult to meet. Most of our businesses, we don't even have the collateral to ask for what are needed financial-wise or capital-wise from the banks. We don't. So at what point do we even sell our initiatives to the bank to come into our businesses and invest? That's difficult because the bank too, they don't want to mortgage people's funds. So there are a whole lot of gamut of issues to be addressed. But good enough, I appreciate the fact that people have already taken a lead to start engaging us on these whole issues. Because for me personally, I've always had a thought line that down here over south, we don't even get the needed bank assistance. If I was to be doing this business in Lagos, I do know that the kind of assistance I would have gotten today is also totally different from the kind of assistance I am currently getting. So there are a whole lot of things, and I will endear Access Bank to continue to reach out to distributors, reach out to the networks, reach out to other companies, Unilevers, Dangotes, and all that, because there are a whole lot of issues why people default on payments. A whole lot of issues, a whole lot. Because I have, by special grace of God, I have been in the business now for about 17 years, and I'm still a young man, just in my 40s. So that tells me that a whole lot needs to be done. And the bank is already taking a very good stand on trying to interface with us and also to know what the issues are like, most especially at this point in time, the COVID time. So I want to really appreciate the bank for what you people are doing. Just try and sustain it and build on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hansen. We appreciate your compliments, and we've taken the feedback, and we'll definitely work on ensuring that we have more stakeholders within the ecosystem on our subsequent forums. Thank you very much. We do appreciate your feedback, and it's noted. Okay, next, we have just about 20 minutes to accommodate for questions. So I'd advise that we keep our questions short, straight to the point. Noble, your hand is raised, so your mic will be enabled for you to ask your question. Please keep it short and simple so we could accommodate as many questions as we can. Thank you very much. Noble, over to you. While we wait for Noble, Abioye Elizabeth, your mic has been unmuted, so you can ask your question. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I want to appreciate Access Bank for this pleasant exposition. I want to thank the presenters, the first person, Dr. Sebastian, and Madam Moren Keji. From the introductory message of the group managing director, he pinpoints something which I've seen in recent with Access, the fact that the bank is open to innovation. I want to I've been relating with my relationship manager for some time now on the issue of facility from the bank. Being a young upcoming business owner and a woman, I observed that there's a on collateral to business. I distribute for Nestle, and more needs to be put into the business to float on the business. So my challenge has been the need for collateral. So I wouldn't know if there could be a shift on the part of the bank so that we can float on the business. That's my question. Having said the other facility, the TOD, the bank guarantee option for me is not very suitable because with my corporate organization, I observe that if I go for the bank guarantee option, I'll be charged a particular percent, which is not very healthy for my business. So I wouldn't know if there could be a flexibility on the issue of collateral, at least in the immediate. Maybe in the near future, we can now do that. But for now, I don't know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abioye. Shizuba, would you like to respond to that?
Hello? Hello? It's Chizoba. Okay, this is Morenike. I don't think, I think Chizoba is a bit mute. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Abioye. I don't know which, and thank you for being a customer. We appreciate you. So on the issue of facility and financing for your business. Okay, let me state clearly, I don't know, I'm very sure your relationship manager will have been working on this. You asked about collateral. Just wanted to say something about collateral. Collateral is needed for loans that are given out of the bank. Is something that is needed by regulation. But I presented something on SME loans, which I will get back to you to actually share with you. There are some of them that you don't actually need to have a collateral. They are SME loans, but they have a limitation to the amount that can be given to you. Depending on the type of business you're doing, what you need, your financial intermediation that you need, the amount that you want. So we have loans that we call SME loans, and they come with their own conditions. They don't come with a strict collateral structure that will have for normal overdraft that you can actually ask for as much as a 1 billion. These ones are called SME loans. Some of them are called MSME loans, but they have a limitation. I'm very sure, I think the highest you can get from that is like 50 million. And like you said, the bank guarantee option is not very favorable. So these ones are overdrafts. So you can get them, but then the conditions are quite different from if you're coming in to be under the distributor scheme. These ones are for SMEs. They are also for business owners. So it's not that, but then the pricing condition is quite different. Collateral structure, there is The collateral structure is something that you can actually achieve. So it's not about the normal collateral. So I think, Ms. Abioye, have I been able to answer your question, or there's something you need to clarify? But we will get to you. If you can just leave your number, maybe your phone number and anything in the Q&A, so that we can get back to you. So we can share those SME facility with you and then speak to you through your account officer or the relationship team.
Thank you very
Hello,
much, Maureen. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you very much. Shemke, your hand is raised and your mic will be enabled now, so you can speak to ask your question. Shemke, we cannot hear you. We see that you're on, but we cannot hear you. Unfortunately, we cannot hear you, Shemke. So Oyebola, your mic has been enabled. Would take your question now, Oyebola. Okay, Oyebola. We'll take Idafe Johnson now. Idafe Johnson, your hand is raised, your mic has been enabled. You can go ahead to ask your question. Kano, your mic has been enabled. You can ask your question. Okay, Kano, Cletus Emmanuel, your mic has been enabled. You can go ahead to ask your question. Cletus C. Emmanuel. Okay, Edafe Johnson, your mic has been enabled. You can ask your question now as we wrap up. Thames James Akehilde, your mic has been enabled. You can ask your question as we wrap up.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. You can go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, James. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
The level of interest rates your bank charge in relation with the rate you pay to funds deposited with you, I think the disparity is too much. I don't know what you guys are doing to adjust this disparity because they are not too heady for business. So I want to know what people are doing, the banks are doing to adjust that disparity, at least to a single digit. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir, for that question. And I'm sure a lot of people have the same concerns. We've heard a lot of people ask the questions as we go on to our business. So just to give you a little brief of what happens, there are some things that come in between, which is why we can't charge based on what you're saying, based on the deposit rate. And trust me, if that wasn't the case, you'd have seen CBN take the lead in insisting that the banks adjust the interest rate downward. The first and foremost is that for every deposit, remember that what we give you is called depositors' funds, people that have brought in money into the bank by way of current accounts, savings accounts, or fixed deposits. When those funds come in, let's use a simple case of 100,000. As 100,000 comes in, about 28% of that money is taken away to CBN at zero interest rate. So imagine that I'm taking your money, 100,000, and I say I'm going to pay you interest of 2% per annum, let's say. First of all, CBN will take 28% of that money and keep that aside at zero interest to me, zero, locked up. Now, what is now remaining, so it means that 28,000 is gone. So I now have about, what, 70-something thousand remaining. From 77,000, I'm going to pay what we call the AMCON charge. I'm going to pay what you also call the NDIC premium. Now, this is all excluding the cost of operations. Remember that your money that you brought, either physically or electronically, there are people that we pay salary. There are bills we pay. There is energy cost. There is building cost. There is transportation cost. There are all those kind of costs. When you build all these things in, your deposit, in quote, may not be making money for me. That is why banks must learn to be able to make up for that shortfall. If it was just the deposit from depositors, we're going to suffer, right? So, and I said this before when I was talking, if you move from, where we move from 20-something% to 15%, that's a quantum leap, okay? So for interest rates on deposits, sometime last year, it went down to almost 1% or zero. As we speak, some treasury bill rates, the OMO rates are going back to 10%. So there is going to be an upward movement of interest rate or pricing. So it's not the banks in quotes, it is the operating environment in Nigeria actually, because we can argue that other countries, some are lower, some are higher. There are some countries that are doing 30-something%. But it is the operating environment that drives what the interest rates will be. It is not in our interest to be overcharging our customers, because what you do is you lose it. That is why you see that there is some sort of parallel between us and other competitor banks. So it's not like the bank is charging 15 and there's one other bank somewhere charging 8% or 7%. Once that's happening, there's only one way things will go. Everybody will move to that bank. There's a reason why all the banks are 15. That is the pricing based on all the parameters I've just explained and more. I don't want to go into all the full details, but that is what determines the pricing. And I don't know if that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chizoba, for that response. And with that, we've come to the end of the question and answer session, which ends finally. If you have more questions, remember to fill the survey so we have your details and we can reach you for more information. Thank you very much for joining once again, and do have a beautiful day.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you all. Bye. I appreciate you.
The first quarter 2020 Distributors Forum. At this point, I'd also like to say a big thank you to each and every one of you for the support and patronage we've had from you for the past several years, particularly in 2020. 2020 was a remarkable year. And it was remarkable because it brought to it a pandemic that none of us had ever witnessed. A pandemic that ravaged the entire United States, that affected continental Europe, and affected several. And I think Nigeria had its own fair share of problems that came with COVID-19. It affected all industries, it affected the entire financial services sector, and it also affected government in terms of the programs that it was going to bring out to support the economy. And of course, at the end of the day, the overall financial system, which of course revolves around foreign currency, access to markets, and all. Supply chains were destroyed. However, having said that, there are a couple of things that are normal in life and which have to do with change and innovation. For several of us, it came with the opportunity to rethink how we serve our customers. And I think in spite of the pandemic, we tried as much as we could to ensure that we continue to support all of you in 2020. Perhaps not as efficient as it would have been in the past, but there was great progress made using technology. And I think several businesses have also had to revisit their entire business model and think of a more technology or technological solution to driving and ensuring that their value chains are protected. But for us, today, we're going to look at a different way of how to serve you. And the theme of this forum is growing your business through crisis, survival and sustainability strategies. And it speaks to the concerns of SMEs and some corporate businesses at this time of economic uncertainties. I can understand the notion of transformation and growth being top priority for business leaders throughout the world, given the current global pandemic, COVID-19. At Access Bank, our response to short-term challenges has always been to rebuild. And I agree totally with Jeff Bezos, who said that you need to be stubborn on the long-term vision, but flexible on the details. In times like these, it is critical to focus on your long-term vision while being resilient and nimble in adjusting to short-term shocks. I hold the firm conviction that what it takes to be resilient is also what it takes to expand. We are prepared for shocks and downturns, knowing that these are all cyclical and to be expected. But more importantly, we remain firmly committed to helping your businesses succeed and build human capacity through routine training and seminars, distributors forum like this one, and business development referrals. We promise to support your business through financial literacy sessions and audit programs, and to put you or at your disposal exceptional financial services platforms and channels. You know, our long-term goal at Access Bank has not changed from the one that my partner Ig and I agreed upon back in 2002. We continue to move closer towards becoming the world's most respected African bank. Once again, I want to thank you for your support, and I wish you a very fruitful engagement at today's session. Please enjoy your day.
That's a boss. Which one? The caliper written in the corner. Caliper.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you.
No, I don't know. I don't know. That will be like block now. She gave up a way. And based on that, maybe as the pressure there is not
from you for the past several years. Particularly in 2020.
if you don't want
it brought to think a pandemic that none of us had ever witnessed. A pandemic that ravaged the entire United States, that affected continental Europe, and affected several African countries. And I think Nigeria had its own fair share of problems that came with COVID-19. It affected all industries, it affected the entire financial services sector, and it also affected government in terms of the programs that it was going to bring out to support the economy, and of course, at the end of the day, the overall financial system, which of course revolves around foreign currency, access to markets, and all. Supply chains were destroyed. However, having said that, there are a couple of things that are normal in life and which have to do with change and innovation. For several of us, it came with the opportunity to rethink how we serve our customers. And I think in spite of the pandemic, we look at a different way of how to serve you. And the theme of this forum is growth. First quarter 2020 Distributors Forum. At this point, I'd also like to say a big thank you to each and every one of you for the support and patronage we've had from you for the past several years, particularly in 2020. 2020 was a remarkable year, and it was remarkable because it brought with it a pandemic that none of us had ever witnessed. A pandemic that ravaged the entire United States, that affected continental Europe, and affected several African countries. And I think Nigeria had its own fair share of problems that came with COVID-19. It affected all industries, it affected the entire financial services sector, and it also affected government in terms of the programs that it was going to bring out to support the economy, and of course, at the end of the day, the overall financial system, which of course revolves around foreign currency, access to markets, and all. Supply chains were destroyed. However, having said that, there are a couple of things that are normal in life and which have to do with change and innovation. For several of us, it came with the opportunity to rethink how we serve our customers. And I think in spite of the pandemic, we tried as much as we could to ensure that we continue to support all of you in 2020. Perhaps not as efficient as it would have been in the past, but there was great progress made using technology. And I think several businesses have also had to revisit their entire business model and think of a more technology or technological solution to driving and ensuring that their value chains are protected. But for us, today, we're going to look at a different way of how to serve you. And the theme of this forum is growing your business through crisis, survival and sustainability strategies. And it speaks to the concerns of SMEs and some corporate businesses at this time of economic uncertainties. I can understand the notion of transformation and growth being top priority for business leaders throughout the world